Hello everyone and welcome back to SFF180. On tonight's episode, for the 12 Days of Halloween, a movie roadshow arrives in a small post-war Arkansas town, but is there a sinister agenda going on behind the scenes? In The Rib from Which I Remake the World. That's the book I'm reviewing tonight. Hello everyone, Thomas here, your host as always. If you're anything like me, God help you, you've probably sat up late at night wondering why nobody has written any books combining supernatural horror with classic 1940s film noir. Well, I'm happy to report those dreams have come true at last. Minnesota writer Ed Kurtz has delivered a book that not only mixes up that chocolate and peanut butter just about perfectly, it's also one of the most flat-out entertaining novels I've read in just about any genre in a long time. Imagine if Something Wicked This Way Comes was written by Raymond Chandler, or conversely, if Ray Bradbury had done The Big Sleep, and you'll have an idea what you're in store for. The Rib from Which I Remake the World unapologetically wears its tropes on its trenchcoat sleeve. The book, after all, opens with an evil traveling circus and freak show, but it's all in the execution, as I like to say, and Kurtz's book is such a success precisely because he treats these familiar elements so lovingly, before turning them all inside out and upside down. It's the middle of World War II, and Jojo Walker is working as a hotel detective, those used to be a thing, in the tiny hamlet of Litchfield, Arkansas. He was once a respectable cop until a scandal involving an affair with a woman of color, a thing very much looked down upon in the racist South, and which led to the suicide of Jojo's wife. His working nights are fairly routine, until the local movie theater, the Palace, rents itself out for a week to a roadshow. Now, this was how movies that weren't made by a big studio used to have to get themselves shown in the theaters before VCRs and streaming internet. The producers would go from town to town, doing a process called four-walling, just renting out a theater with cash up front. But the movie that's come to Litchfield is causing a minor uproar. It's something called Motherhood Too Soon, which is promoting itself as a hygiene film, which is how they used to have to skirt obscenity laws. There would be like a moral lesson involved and a bogus lecture by a bogus doctor to give the thing the appearance of being educational, when it was really all about that prurient interest. Ordinarily, Jojo wouldn't care too much either way, but it turns out the people presenting the film are staying at his hotel, with the exception of its enigmatic impresario, someone calling himself Barker Davis. Now we, of course, already know this bunch is up to no good, which in most stories would be spoilery, but here it just adds to the fun. One night, a member of Davis's staff gets himself horribly murdered in his room. It's like his whole body came apart for no reason, although by the time it happens, we know the reason and have been looking forward to it. Jojo, along with Theodora Cavanaugh, the wife of the theater owner, who fears her husband is somehow under the thrall of Davis, team up to investigate further. Attending one of the movie's packed screenings, they discover there is another movie playing at midnight that only certain audience members get specially invited to. From here, everything goes to hell in the most spectacular of ways. And don't worry, there's plenty that I've left for you to discover for yourself. Now, if your taste in horror involves showy splatter and devilish mayhem, then get some popcorn ready and sit back. And just when you think you know exactly how everything is going to wrap up, Ed Kurtz takes off his top hat, taps it with his wand, and saves his most fantastic and unexpected surprises for last. The Rib from Which I Remake the World is a book that pays loving homage to two genres by bringing both of them together in a gruesome, exciting, funny, and just plain fun story that will likely give you the best time you've ever had watching the world burn. And that's all I have for this episode of SFF180. Remember the most important thing, these are reviews. You will not always agree with me, but if you enjoyed watching, please hit that like button, share the video with all of your friends, and above all, please subscribe. If you haven't done so already, that's how the channel grows. You can also support SFF180 at its TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits into Wink's Army for $2 a month get little perks like watching the videos a day early. So I want to thank all of those awesome people for their support. I want to thank all of you for being fantastic viewers, and don't forget, I will see you again tomorrow night at midnight for the next installment of the 12 Days of Halloween.